Colorado. Somebody, yeah, it was with this web designer who hasn't designed any websites yet, but preemptively wants to make sure that she can decline to make a website that announces or celebrates a gay couple getting married in Colorado, because Colorado, its anti-discrimination laws require people to serve customers and not discriminate based on race or sexual orientation. Right. And so, this is my question to you: do you think that this web designer should be forced to make a website that announces gay marriage, even though she has a quote-unquote Christian web design service?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, great. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, overall, I think it's like you should be able to. It's different if it's like a Starbucks and you're walking into a Starbucks and you're like, okay, all the black people. Yeah, no, they can't come in here. That's one thing. But if you have like a single person and their own business and they say these are my values and I personally don't agree with that, I don't want to make a website for you. It is that thing of like, you can go somewhere else. Honestly, there are other web designers out there, whatever. But it also is kind of like other businesses could look at this and be that Starbucks. And
there was already a case
about
this, like the gay.
It was in Colorado, and it was about a bake shop.
Yeah. And so again, it's weird. It's like you shouldn't be able to discriminate, but also like you can't. I don't think you should be forcing people. And in other words, to like do something they don't want to do. So if at the end of the day,
if you're not welcome, just don't go.
Like if they basically say, hey, like, I don't support gay marriage, you're not gonna, like, that's like going to a church that openly says we don't support gay marriage and being mad at the church for not supporting gay marriage. You know what I mean?
She does have the choice not to be a web designer.
She does, but again, it's that thing of, it cuts into like what you can do with your own business. So it's kind of like a rock and a hard place, because at the end of the day, like, if you don't want to work with someone, you don't want to work with someone. At the end of the day, at Starbucks, they have the right to refuse anybody. Like, you can go in there and start shouting. They're like, all right, we're going to ban you from this property, Yeah. So basically saying, okay, well, this person's values, they don't want to work with this person. It's like one of those things. I feel like there's so many other people you can go. It's not like this is the only web designer in that state.
Well, I think the big issue is it becomes a lot more complicated when you're talking about
sexual orientation.
It's sexual orientation versus race versus religious views and others. And it's like, where do you draw the line between discrimination and just like, it's just that we disagree politically, or like, I don't agree with this stance, but it just so happens to correlate with, whatever. If you were in the South during segregation and you're like, well, I just didn't like them politically. Like, well, no, you're,
lying.
Like lying. Yeah, you're lying about it.
Yeah.
So it's
hold on one second. Go ahead. Because I do think that she should serve them. I personally don't. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. But however, there would be a case for her being like, well, if I am a very devout Christian of this certain sect, we don't like gay people, that's religious discrimination by forcing me.
Yeah, like it's
to
right,
serve
it's in
them.
So that's the
area.
thing also.
It's
but like if your
area.
ideals are, there's a big difference between forcing someone to celebrate someone else's ideology or beliefs and being like, well, I don't like them as a people, so I don't want to serve them in my business. Like, where do you draw the line? Like, no shirt, no shoes, no service is very different from something about you I fundamentally disagree with, so you're not welcome in my space. They tried to draw that
distinction in their arguments. They said, well, I would serve gay people, I just wouldn't say that they have marriage. But I would like to draw a distinction between what the gay person is saying and what she thinks she's saying. If she is saying that gay people can't get married in the Christian church or under God, well, the gay people aren't saying that either. So when she is designing a website for somebody that says we are getting married, their definition of marriage is different from her definition of marriage.
Yeah,
and
even
she is not
gray area.
And even then,
she is not necessarily saying that they are getting married.
It's
in
this court case is probably going to go along the lines of, like, again, it's just hard because the way you worded it made it seem like she's forced to work with them.
That's what she's wording it as.
You should be able to refuse service from anybody.